Hi everybody, really pleased to be here. So I'm Kathy.
I'm Deb.
And we're here to talk about, as Eunice was saying, some mental health challenges, particularly in schools, for schools and staff during the COVID-19 pandemic and what impact and challenges it's had.
And I'd like to begin with an acknowledgement to country.
So as everybody will be aware, the COVID-19 pandemic has been very disruptive and one of the most unprecedented crises in WA education, but obviously for everybody, no matter where you are in the world. For us, it's been a very difficult journey filled with a lot of uncertainty, and we're still in a state of emergency, and we have to respond as a Department of Education to the decisions that are made by our government.
So I'll just tell you a little bit about teaching during the pandemic. For most of the pandemic, the children have been exposed to face-to-face teaching. That means they've been in a classroom in front of a teacher. That's called face-to-face. And then we've had children that are using hard copies of tailor-made home learning packs. And both modes of delivery were developed collaboratively by year level teachers, working in teams, to ensure that we had consistency of the content of our curriculum.
And prior to that, as Deborah was saying, we actually were giving out all these home learning packs, parents were coming to pick them up or they were being delivered, and almost straight after the holidays, most children were actually then back face to face again. So that made some enormous stress levels on everybody, but particularly us as staff. And there's also a big focus on staff wellbeing, which is also important. Going back to what I said in the previous slide about stress levels, that stress was something that impacted everybody. And it's important to realise that your mental health is just as important as the children's, hence my next slide. Do you want me to go on, Deb? So the importance of mental health and wellbeing cannot be stressed enough. Good mental health goes hand in hand with good physical health.
Just a few things dealing with stress. We'll look at teachers first of all. They're not new. The deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, guided imagery, physical activity. And that was quite restrictive as well. We didn't have any limits on the time, but you just had to avoid crowds and so on, but stay in the local area.
Again, just like us, 1 minute they were thinking they were doing one thing, another minute it was something else. And depending on the parents as well, parents were actually initially given a choice of whether to send their children back to school at the start of this term. And some parents did and some parents didn't, understandably. So on to teacher workload. As we've been talking about, staff were feeling overwhelmed with the additional workload of dealing with home learning and face-to-face teaching.